call the meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can you have the roll call of members, please? Greenway?
Yes.
Mueller?
Yes.
Sarda? Yes. Okay, we do have a quorum. Before we go on to the approval of the agenda, I just wanted to take a moment and pause and just to think about, we had a serious accident today at one of our schools, and just want to think about the family and everybody that was involved. These things can be very traumatic for those in the classrooms and anybody who was trying to help. And so we just want to, as a district, just take a little bit of time to think about that family and hope for the best. Okay, thank you. Let's go next to the approval of our agenda.
Make a motion, we approve the agenda before us.
Second. I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please. Greenway?
Yes.
Mueller?
Yes.
Sarda? Yes. The next item is our approval of our minutes. This is an action item.
I motion to approve the minutes of the September 9th, 2024 regular school board meeting and the September 18th, 2023 as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please. Mueller?
Yes.
Greenway?
Yes.
Sarda? Yes. Okay, our next is the time that we disclose any conflicts that we have, first of all, direct or indirect. Hearing none, we'll move on to item number 5, which is our consent agenda.
Motion to approve the consent agenda before us.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please. Greenway?
Yes.
Mueller?
Yes.
Sarda? Yes. I guess before we get into our good news, I just want to recognize that we have as I understand, a college class here today from Mount Marty University, an education class. What's the class?
Orientation to teaching.
Okay, orientation to teaching. Well, welcome. I think you came at a pretty good meeting. This isn't going to take you very long, but hopefully you have others in your that you will have to come back for. You may learn a little bit more about some of the details that go on. So. Okay, let's move on to item number 6, public comment. There is none. There is one. Okay, sorry, I'm thinking about, okay. So let's go on to good news, student achievement.
All right, good evening. My good news really focuses on giving you an update on a couple areas in our Forward 2029 strategic plan. So first, I want to give you an update on elementary report cards, which falls under the student achievement section of our plan. So under student achievement, one of our objectives in our strategic plan states by refining the district-wide multi-tiered systems of support, or what we often coin as MTSS model, we ensure growth for all students at their achievement levels. And then as an action item specifically under there is to implement a revised elementary report card that assesses student achievement of standards. And our target date is this year. And so I'm here to show you the outcome of that action item as we first implement and have that completed. So the purpose of our progress report at the elementary is really to describe the level of academic achievement, life skills, and social emotional growth that students have shown over the course of the year, and just to give parents a snapshot of always just where they're at right now. When we were evaluating our report cards, some of the challenges, our previous report cards, some of the challenges that we looked at were the standard alignment. It was challenging, just the wordage on our previous report card of where we actually put an assignment based on certain standards that it was assessed, where we put that on the report card. And then that leads into, because it wasn't really clear on exactly where to list those grades or that progress, that we had some inconsistency of completion. So then our second goal was to build consistency. And then the last thing would be time for completion. Just trying to help make the report card more efficient of a process for our elementary teachers. So our outcomes. First, we looked at standard alignment. We had a lot of discussions over actually the course of about a year and a half. Myself and the building principals really met with staff at staff meetings, at grade level collaborations. We gathered feedback. We showed different options from other school districts, and here's kind of the outcomes of all of those discussions. So one thing that we did to revise the report card for a specific standard alignment is we simply just listed the domains of each of our state standards. So an example you can see up here is kindergarten for ELA. And what we did was we listed each of the domains that falls under there. So we have standards for ELA in kindergarten that can round up to foundational skills, reading literature, reading informational text, speaking and listening, writing, and language. And then we have multiple standards that fall under each of these domains or categories. For example, I know this one off the top of my head. Reading literature, there are 10 standards that actually fall under this category. And so what K1 did on the report card is we have a place for every standard now, reading literature score, so it would go right here. But then they also expanded this to help our kindergarten, first grade families to really focus on some of those high level skills that they want to report on specifically. So then we took 2 of the standards under reading literature and we described them in better detail. So I can comprehend and discuss a story. I can ask and answer questions about a story. There are still more standards under there, but we would put them in this major category here. So we did that for K and 1. Then in second, we narrowed it down, and you can see we just listed those domains. So now you have a better understanding of what might fall under there, but now we're reporting just as a roll-up into that one domain. And then 4-5 condenses even more, and we combine reading and literature, reading, literature, and informational text, and then writing and language. So as you can see over here, every standard has a place on the report card. The same would be for math as well. So every standard has a place on the report card. We expanded that at the K1 level, narrowed it at the 2-3 level, and then this is an example of the 4-5. Next, to build consistency, we really evaluated our rubrics that we're using. So this 4-3-2-1 rubric is used in grades K3 in all content areas. So ELA, math, science, social studies, and then in K5 for music, PE, and art. And you can see that 2 things come into play. So always working at the grade level standard. How well is a student demonstrating their understanding of that standard? And then how much support do they need? And so that's kind of what I emphasize here in the bolded areas. At 4-5, in the content areas, we will use a grading scale like we've done in the past. So ELA, math, science, social studies, it will be based on a percentage versus the rubric shown before. And then lastly, one thing that we did for consistency is we took our social studies skills and we aligned them to our Boys Town model, which is the skills that our teachers talk about every week with their students. We use the same language, we condense the list, and then we simplify the rubric as if we have a plus, that skill is being demonstrated acceptably, and if we have a minus, we need improvement on that. And we do that K5, it's the same list. Lastly, for addressing that challenge for time, that was more in the back end of Infinite Campus. So when I rebuilt the report card, I made sure that the reporting was a lot easier for the teachers to do. So that was more on the coding side of it, and just now working with teachers on how to utilize those features so that the time it takes them to complete the report card is less than it was before. all of our elementary parents will see these new report cards coming. First quarter is ending this Friday, and conferences for the elementary are on November 7th and 12th. So you'll be able to see and hear about the new report card at the elementary level. Any questions? All right. And then the second thing for an update on Forward 2029 would be under family and community engagement. And this is the section that Mr. Lucas and I co-chair. And we just want to give you, sorry, I can't see your, thank you. We just want to give you an update on the tasks that we have been working on and implementing so far this year too. So first, under family and community engagement, one of our objectives is to improve the clarity of communication channels. And specifically, the action item is to be able to define that better. We have lots of ways that we communicate with our families, with our community, and sometimes it's just confusing on which is the avenue do we use when we're communicating what information. And so on the Parents tab, which is the same, irregardless of where you're at on the school website, there is a new section at the top. And this explains our communication channels. So if you click on these, you can see the whole thing, English, Spanish, but basically it's telling you, okay, on the website, here's information you can learn. If you use the app, here's information you can learn. Email, phone, text, here's this, publications, our social media, our YouTube. And then the second image is the second page right here. Just gives some good overall basic phone numbers. It's like a one-stop shop for all of the ways that we stay connected with our families and community. And then Infinite Campus on the bottom. Also, I have some information right here about Campus Parent, because that's really important for our families to follow. And then about Remind, which is something that we are implementing this year and trying out. Some families may have already received a Remind message. Remind, we are looking into this to see if we can solve our challenge of two-way communication. When we communicate through Infinite Campus, it's just one-way communication, like I can text or email a parent. But on Remind, they can text or email me back a lot easier and more efficiently. So we're looking into Remind, and it is an option that our families can use to connect with us as well. Any questions on that update? And then Mr. Lucas will give you one more update too. Okay.
All right, so our second one was expanding opportunities to volunteer by inviting and encouraging active participation from families and community members. So on the website, if you scroll down here, right here, we got an area where it talks about volunteering. And we did this because then it gives parents an idea of what are we looking for as a school district for volunteers. And so it just kind of goes through and talks about it. So if we look here, this is what it looks like. So it talks about how can you help in the Yankton School District. It talks about your parent groups that each elementary school has. And then we have just little pieces here of ways that you can volunteer. We just picked 6 main ones right now that kind of just talk about things you can do in the classroom. Kind of went away from it with COVID, so we're trying to get people back, and they just don't always know. They don't want to call and ask, but by doing this, we thought this was a great way to get that out there to parents, community members, grandparents that want to come into the school and help out. Talks about the volunteers needing to complete the volunteer background disclosure form, and then if they have any questions that they can reach out to us at each building and call us and ask, hey, I want to come in, I'm going to be in town for a week, I'm a grandparent, I'd like to come in and volunteer in the classroom doing something, and we can help them out as a principal with different ideas too.
Any final questions? All right, thank you.
No, I just make a comment before we move on that really has a lot to do with our, for the benefit of the class, has a lot to do with the strategic plan that we have when we break up, and that it's not just a document, that it's a real working document that the faculty and staff really strive to do the best they possibly can. So that was just a good example of that.
All right, good evening. One want to talk a little bit about our YHS homecoming wrap-up, and one thing that I'm just really extremely proud of our students, our staff, our community, for making this homecoming great, not only just this year, but each and every year. It's always neat each year meet with our royalty candidates and so forth. We have a little lunch and just get to know them a little bit better. And it's one thing that we just talk about, that in order to have a successful homecoming, they really need to lead the way. So I just want to shout out to our royalty candidates. We're really getting all of our students involved, our teachers involved, and all of that. We had a great Thursday of Athletic Hall of Fame, and then we crowned our Prince and Princess from Pioneer Days on Thursday night, and then Friday, lots of fun with lots of different activities throughout the day at the high school, and then just had a massive parade that, you know, lots of people and community members reached out to, and then we went to football game and was successful there as well. But just lots and lots of pride from our community, and they're proud of the things we're doing in the school and have a lot of school spirit. So really, really happy about our homecoming wrap up, and you know, already planning for some things to do for next year with some of those things. Just wanted to mention as well, just a couple upcoming things that we have at YHS as well. Parent-teacher conferences November 4th and November 7th. We'll have parents coming in and meeting. End of the quarter is this week. And then November 16th, we have our winter formal coming up. We're excited about that. Student council's really getting ready to plan for those things, and get out some more information on that later this week on the winter formal. We moved that up a little bit just because some other scheduling conflicts, and really feel that just to meet the needs of everybody and what it could be, and we're excited about that. Any questions?
I just have one. Will you comment about the new parade marshal?
Yeah, you bet.
Really
So
well.
You know, Dr. Kittle had an idea with where we wanted to get in some people and involved within as a parade marshal. So we met with a group of people, committee, myself, and several others within the community, within the school, and then we sought nominations for a community parade marshal and a school district employee parade marshal. We had over 40 responses from different things, so we have a really good group for a selection from, and we're going to continue to do that. Pauline Rhodes was selected for our school district employee parade marshal, and Duke Ellingson for our community parade marshal, and they were recognized throughout the week and just had a fantastic experience, and they represented and really what are all about what Yankton School District is all about. So just fantastic with that. All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, moving on, we have a presentation about our Trailhead Learning Center update.
Good evening. For those who don't know me, Mark Sante, project manager on the ECDC project.
I'm Brent Osler. I'm the project superintendent on the project.
So yeah, just gonna give you a quick update on where we're sitting here, construction. Yeah, unless I have a clicker. Is this?
Yep, that works.
So here's just a quick outline of,
You have to click there.
oh, there we go. So, yeah, this is me and Brent here. We also got a couple other members part of this team. Matt Anderson, project engineer, he's also on site. Our VP, out of our Sioux Falls office, Ron Steff, and then Justin Lovell, senior project manager, and then the rest of the design team, and then of course you guys as the owner. Here's just the full list of subcontractors. It's if it looks overbearing, it is. I mean, there's a lot of kind of constant coordination with all of our subcontractors, and but right now, currently in our on-site presence is list on the left below, so. So just a couple progress updates here, civil wise, so all of our exterior site work, we're still working through a little bit of final grading, just with getting ready for like seeding. We're actually gonna be doing a dormant seeding here coming up in the next couple weeks. Our irrigation is complete, as scheduled, and actually our second lift of asphalt was completed, what, 2 weeks ago? So,
Lines are painted.
starting to just get the shape of the project put together, and it's, you can obviously see it, I guess, if you've driven by. Interior, inside, we got a pile of finishes going with whether it's tile, paint, still a little bit of drywall and taping, but, yeah, so a lot of work within, kind of the office area and kitchen area, but we're getting real close to being pretty much completed with the classrooms, which is the areas B and C, which is on the far right bottom corner.
Which is
the B
actually,
plan.
which is actually the two-story area as you're driving by.
Just a couple of photos here. Here's the west parking lot with the striping and light poles installed. Gymnasium's come along really well. Scoreboards in, gym equipment is 95% done. And then these rectangle shapes here are called acoustical tectum panels. So it just helps kind of absorb any sound within the gym. Being it's all concrete, it's pretty easy to create noise in there. This picture here, this is the front part of the preschool entrance. You can start just, again, see the life of what's evolving here with the tile along the stairs. Eventually, this will get some millwork around this eye drop opening. It's gonna be starting to look really cool as we get going here in the next 3 weeks still with this area in particular. This is in area B, I think.
That is.
Yep. So all the classroom areas mimic each other, and this is a pretty good shot of just the whole entrance of that lower level classroom with just the whole soffit aesthetics there, and just
That's actually the preschool entrance.
Yeah.
Right there. So as you come in from the outside, go through that set of double doors right there, which there's gonna be tile on both sides. That's where you're gonna be walking into when you come into the preschool.
so it's really getting out like everything. There's a little touch up, but for the most part, you can see all our floorings in and doors and all the good looking stuff. So just a couple upcoming milestones. As I was getting at, we're looking to really close out areas B and C with the classrooms here in the next couple weeks, along with our gym. So as of right now, we're on track with everything, and interior finishes is just going to be a constant right now for the next month and a half as we're just continuing to close out some of the other areas like the kitchen and main office conference room areas.
Gym floor.
Gym flooring, yep. But it's crazy. I mean, we've been there over a year now, and it's just great to see the
From
full scope of things
May
coming
30th
together.
of last year is when we put the first scraper pan into the ground and started changing the landscape out there to where we are today. I drive this every day from Sioux Falls, and so a lot of miles, a lot of hours down here. Building you guys a well-built, strong school that's gonna withstand the test of time, I believe.
Is that an old hard hat or a new one? Because then you have to get new ones.
Yeah, we just, as of October 1st, we had to get hard hats that have like chin straps, so we don't actually wear them, but we're
Yours is
supposed to
on
have
over.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, good
I saw that I had the old one on.
Yeah, next time I'll have a picture of the other one so you can.
Yeah, so that's McGough's continuing progress through safety. Company-wide, that's anywhere from our North Carolina office to our Dallas, Texas office to Minneapolis and St. Paul. We're strategically making our company better by getting the latest and greatest safety wear as well. So,
I think that's pretty much all I have.
any questions? Comments, concerns? Are we doing okay? Another thing that you guys could always do is go to the school website under Trailhead Learning Center. Tiffany, sometimes Nicole, Ms. Riken, they come out and do job site photos and upload them, and you can really go back through the photos and look at the photos and see how much it's taken shape. So it's changing on a daily basis out there with all these finishes. So.
Yeah, pretty exciting for you guys, and we're just excited. So looking forward to the closing things out here in the next couple months. But if there's nothing else, we can let you guys proceed, guys.
Okay, thank you very much. We're excited about the progression. Our next item is a discussion item about our technology, our district technology.
Good evening. So I just want to review real quickly the technology plan. This is the plan from 22 to 27. This is part of the 5-year strategic plan. And this plan was created, I can't remember exactly the date, but as Sarah mentioned, we got all the committee together, and this is created out of that plan as well. So there's a few goals that I'm going to talk about. Some I'll talk a little bit more about. Some, Nicole, you can chime in on because they're way more your baby than mine. So feel free. There we go. All right, goal number 1 is to provide technology tools and maximize achievement and instruction. So for each goal, there's a number of objectives. So I'll just read those real quick and we'll talk about it real quick. Number 1, update and replace interactive panels in the classroom. This is something that we were able to do to push it forward with COVID money, some of the ESSER funds, and we were able to complete that last summer. Every classroom in the district now has a Promethean panel, a nice 75-inch. We got rid of all the projectors and the touch irritating things that never really worked well on the smart panels or the smart boards. They were just a board with a projector, not a panel specifically. So we were able to update those, and so we also have on order, and I'm expecting delivery this Friday for the panels for Trailhead Learning Center. We were able to take advantage of a end of the quarter discount, so we'll have to store those for a little bit until we can roll them back out there and get them installed. So all the schools will have that, and then we'll have some extras that come out of the Webster School Building as we kind of move things around in the district. So all rooms will have those really good quality panels. Number 2, update, replace classroom mobile devices. 5 years ago, we had kind of a variety of older iPads and older Chromebooks, things like that. With the planning that was put in place, in addition to some COVID money, all the devices that we have currently in classrooms are up to date and they'll work for state testing, and they're all up to date. And so that's really in the next 2 years before any of those devices become non-compliant for state testing and whatnot. So we're in a pretty good position for that right now, actually. Number 3, evaluate and update printers. Again, 4 or 5 years ago, the printers were kind of a mess. We had 3 different vendors doing support for our printers, and sometimes it would work and sometimes it didn't come. And so all the physical printers, like printers, not bigger copy machines, all the printers in the district are under one contract now, and that's for toners, repairs, supplies. So basically, if it's something we can't fix, or it's a toner that doesn't work, we just call in as part of the print supply, and it's all just we pay it. There's a yearly. I'm not going to even try to remember the number at this point, but basically we're just paying a click count on those. But I think since that time we've been much better able to support printing in classroom needs, especially those lower grade levels where they like to do lots of things in color and certificates. I love those certificates. As far as copiers, our copier contract will be renewed next year. It was supposed to be renewed this last year, but with the changes with TLC, we extended the current contract year, kept the same copiers, and so we're going to reevaluate our needs as we shift to TLC this next May. So each of the building principals is going to come up with a plan. Do we want to get rid of some of the older printers and put in multi-function copiers in central areas? And the principals are working on that plan. So right now we're well supported on printing devices. And number 4 here, update and replace teacher laptops. This has been something we've kind of staggered each year. The high school teachers this past summer is the newest of that laptop replacement. And I think the elementary folks are on 2 more years and they'll get new laptops. So that's all budgeted out in the 5-year capital outlay plan, so we continue to roll forward with those. And I think that is it on goal 1. Goal 2, professional development. I'm not going to say much about this. Nicole, do you want to jump in on anything? Just let the slides stand. Nicole has done a tremendous job of giving technology training for the teachers, and it's every summer we are supporting different groups that she has in middle school and the outside group coming in. So it's she pushes really hard on that and does a lot for the teachers. Number 3, integrating technology and curriculum. A couple years ago, the district hired in technology integrationists as part of that plan. Allie was the first one of that. Now Tiffany Besky is that. And Nicole, they work day to day with the staff, and they're out all the time helping with, class link issues and just how do things work on a day-to-day basis. We try to not, from the technology department side, John, Chris, and myself, we try not to let them get too deep in the weeds and focus on helping teachers with technology for instruction as opposed to, the printer's broken and, things like that. So we've got a pretty good ticket system, and when they put it in, we try to be as quick on our response time as that, and let those folks focus on the curriculum side. Goal number 4, that was 2 and 3 if you're counting slides. Nicole, do you want to put anything else on that?
No.
Okay. All right, good enough. Goal 4, a little bit longer. So improvement of technology and infrastructure and technology. So this is kind of the nuts and bolts that make it all work kind of thing. So again, I'll quickly run through these, talk about them a little bit. So objective 1, prepare for future growth and infrastructure needs. This is our ongoing update servers, update software, update switches, update access points. A lot of things fall under that. Specifically, one thing we did is we did new camera servers at the high school and middle school so that we can record a significant longer time. We had some incidents where, hey, I want to see, Dr. Kinnell, there was an incident that, hey, I want to see from a month ago, what happened. Well, our old servers just weren't keeping enough, and there's a lot of cameras at the high school and middle school. So we just expanded that storage significantly, and now we can go back a pretty significant amount of time. And then we'll do the same thing at TLC and all the buildings, cameras and servers and whatnot. Number 2, increase efficiencies in the network. As we purchase new hardware, not wireless stuff, but wired network, the stuff that sits in the closet that nobody really cares about. As we upgraded that at the middle school and high school, we put in all new fiber optic network that I think is capable of 10 gig, and it was 1 gig before. So that should pretty well future-proof us for a significant time in the future. Better public viewing and board meetings, that was on there. We updated software and cameras and controls in here and whatnot. We've had a lot of issues in the past with that, and hopefully that's been better. Number 4, keep current network gear. This is similar to what I talked about before, just making sure that all the new access points, wireless devices, and the stuff in the closets, just make sure it all works really well so that it's not we can't do instruction today because the network's down or something like that. Infant Campus was down earlier today, and it wasn't on us, but boy, everybody got excited that it was not working for a few minutes. Moving on, continuing goal number 4, objective number 5, allow the transfer of data, voice data between buildings. Every year we do, every 4 years we do a new RFP to seek bids for our connections between all of our attendance centers, school buildings, admin, everything like that. This last year we did a new vendor. We saved a pretty significant amount of money, and we also increased our bandwidth. So as we share video and share resources, we should again have significant bandwidth to future-proof what we got going on there. 6, keep software versions current. We finally upgraded from the 2016 version of Office that we've been using since, probably 2016 or 17, to the new version, and that's the online version, Office 316. There's 365, excuse me, that is integrated with our email. We can use a new version of Outlook. There were just several things that we're behind on because we had older versions, and so It ended up saving, I think, $10,000 to go with the new version. We had a little bit of a hiccup on the rollout because we didn't get the licenses until like a month after the teachers had their laptops back. So, you know, nothing without a price. But again, we did save some money on that one. Number 7, add a layer of protection to the internet. Last year, we rolled out for the high school and middle school students an additional monitoring software called Deladeo. It's good and bad, depending on if you ask teachers or students, I suppose. But we do have our normal firewall that covers every device in the district. And then for students in high school and middle school, there's an additional watchdog, whatever you want to call it, that'll, and sometimes it's really good. It'll catch things like students asking about suicide, and, you know, looking to do bad things at school. It'll catch those and send a text message or an email to the principal. But if you are in art class and you Google still pictures, it also throws a red flag up for that sometimes. So, good and bad. And number 8, add a layer of email protection for users. With our integration into the state email system fully at the current supported secure version, we make things a lot more secure on that. And the state is really good about helping us knock down spam and junk and phishing, things like that. And the state is heavily focused on cybersecurity right now. In fact, if most people, two people in the last 2 weeks have said, well, somebody emailed me and they said, check your junk mail. And there's nothing in the junk mail because the state basically just deletes the junk. They don't even let you see most of the junk that comes in. So the state does a really good job at that. All right, goal number 5, use technology to promote parental involvement and increase communications. Again, Nicole, feel free to jump in on this one. Objective 1, explore the possibility of students checking out devices for home usage. We have enough numbers to do this now, between Chromebooks and iPads and whatever, but we really don't have the appropriate policies in place, is the right word, Dr. Kendall, for that, to make sure that, you know, there's liability protection for the school, liability protection for the students, that, you know, we don't trample on privacy issues at home and things like that. So we just need to get caught up with that in our next iteration of the technology plan. 2, communicate effectively. I'll let you read the rest of that. Nicole really talked about this already tonight, so I'm not going to belabor the point, but I will say that the new exterior signs also help us kind of shine a light, sometimes a really bright light at Stewart when I drive by in the dark. So we met that objective, or worked really hard on that objective as well. Okay, so next steps on this plan, and this is more of me working with the state and saying, hey, where they're really trying to go with things. Oops, sorry about that. We really need to improve our cybersecurity posture, and this is something that the state is focused significantly on. And it's been a number of years, right before I came, in fact, that we had a pretty serious, significant, horrible, whatever adjective you want to throw in there, data incident, we'll call it that. We actually got to be the example at the cybersecurity conference that Jerome and I went to, and we checked the agenda on the way up, like, oh look, Yankton's on the agenda for the bad stuff that happened about 5 years ago. So, yes, we need to start thinking about that, and I think we've gotten a little complacent on that. However, most of the teachers are really good, like, hey, I got this email and it looks suspicious, like, yeah, good, delete it, go for that. But we just need to increase that awareness a little bit. One of the things that the state is pushing heavily is to go with multi-factor authentication. In other words, when you log in, you gotta like your bank, you gotta thumbprint it, you gotta text or whatever. I think we need to do that before they make us do it, so we can roll out that the way we want to do that. 2, promote, again, just more awareness of phishing dangers, including, you know, cybersecurity, the use of AI. The district, Yankton, has been very good about embracing AI and not trying to say, whoa, it's a horrible thing, get rid of it kind of thing. We just need to continue to be aware of what it can and can't do. I think we've done a good job with that. Not trying to roadblock it because it never would have worked anyway. So, last 2 things, update the language in AUP. We've had several policy changes that we've talked about here in the last couple of months. We just need to include those. And then continue to have the 5-year plan update for technology needs, which is every year we refresh that and we update it and what are the needs going to have down the road. So, questions?
I have a question about a student that may not have internet access at home.
Mhm.
When we give them a device, would that allow them to have internet access, or do they need that in their home?
So during COVID, we had a number of devices that we sort of pre-planned that, hey, we might all have to go home, and if there are students that didn't have access to the internet at home, we did purchase some devices. We canceled those subscription now because everybody's pretty much at home. If we do a genuine, everybody gets to take their device home and put all those policies in place, we're gonna have to have that as an option. And that's really one of the policies, is like, okay, do you have, is Blue Peak in your neighborhood so that we can pay for that if they economically can't afford it? Or are they out in the middle of nowhere, no Blue Peak, and they have to have a Verizon hotspot or something like that? So we've done that, and we know we can do that because we kind of muddled through that when everybody else was with COVID. But that'll certainly be something we have to address as we go forward. Okay, if you're, free and reduced meals, you also qualify for this, and how do we pay for it, and things like that. Certainly something we'd have to look at.
Is there any other questions? Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, moving on to number 10, ASBSD Delegate Assembly. This is appointing me as the annual delegate. It's an action item, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to appoint Sarah Sarda as the official Yankton School District Delegate to the annual ASBSD Delegate Assembly.
Second? Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please. Mueller?
Yes.
Greenway?
Yes.
Sarda? Yes. Okay, and our final is adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Greenway? Yes.
Mueller?
Yes.
Sarda?
Yes, we are adjourned.